Hello, everyone. So, while recovering from a sinus infection and dealing with some not so great news today, I needed to get a video out to you all today. Also, thank you for everyone for making this channel subbed over 250 times. I am immensely grateful from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Now, on with the news. The new Congress in the United States came with many changes, a lot of firsts. The Huffington Post made a nice little homage to these folks breaking ground, and so I'll reference it here, with illustrations by Kyle Hilton. His personal page will be placed down below because I actually quite liked his renderings from an artistic perspective. The first Native American Congresswoman, the youngest woman ever elected to Congress, the first openly bisexual woman, odd that this one didn't make it into the artistic renderings, and the first Muslim elected to Congress. Well, actually, there were two, but we shall be focusing on the last entry in that list because today, House member Ilhan Omar has made some waves in the political sphere, mostly due to her tweets. Once again, we see Twitter rearing its ugly head in politics once more. At this point, I must recommend anyone who holds public office, please stay far, far away from social media. Now to give some context, let's read the HuffPost blurb about her here. Ilhan Omar, 37, will be the new House member for Minnesota's 5th Congressional District. The state representative joins Rashida Tlaib in making history as the nation's first Muslim congresswoman. For Omar, who was born in Somalia and spent 4 years in a refugee camp in Kenya before coming to the US at age 12, breaking barriers will be nothing new. When she was elected to the Minnesota House in 2016, she became the nation's first Somali American legislator. Quote, I hope my candidacy would allow people to have the boldness to encourage people who don't fit into a particular demographic to seek office, she told HuffPost that year, reported by Sarah Ruiz Grossman. So what did this young lady, a testament to the new, diverse U.S. Congress, do to land herself in the news? Well, that's the thing. What she did isn't really new. These are the headlines from Fox. Ilhan Omar's Israel tweets, the latest in a long line of controversial comments. Well, controversial how? Pelosi, Dem leaders condemn Rep. Omar for anti-Semitic language. Anti-Semitism. Now where have I heard this before?
When the headlines say people died in Gaza, it breaks my heart because people didn't choose to die. People were killed, they were massacred at the hands of snipers. There is no going into Gaza and there's no leaving Gaza. And many UN-based organizations and human rights organizations have called Gaza the world's largest open-air prison. People have a right to protest. They were met with aggression and snipers that have killed over 50 people in one day, over 100 in the last 6 weeks. Looking at the photos taken at the same time on the same day during the opening of the American Embassy in Jerusalem. One side you have Americans and Israelis who are celebrating, and on the other side you see photos of people being killed by snipers, smoke in the air, people running away from violence. These are people who are demanding basic human rights, the right to travel, the right to live, the right to work, the right to move freely within their country, and the right to return to their original homelands.
That was Linda Sarsour, the same Linda Sarsour who has been seen embracing Louis Farrakhan and speaking at the Women's March. Now, after seeing that short clip from Now This, a fine media outlet, let me tell you, you might be saying, well, Trups, nothing that she said was inherently anti-Semitic, albeit biased in favor of the Palestinians, but not anti-Semitic. And to that I say, yes, you are right. What Linda said was not outright against the Jews, but we are not too far off when getting back to Ilhan Omar. While the first Fox article mentioned breaks it down for us. Prior to becoming a congresswoman, Omar was a local Somali American activist in Minnesota. Unrestrained by the decorum of any elective office, she previously lashed out against Israel using what many regard as an anti-Semitic trope. She says in 2012, Israel has hypnotized the world. May Allah awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel. Fast forward to 2016. Omar, then a Minnesota state rep, went on to ask a judge to show leniency towards a group of Minnesota men accused of trying to join the Islamic State terror group. The best deterrent to fanaticism is a system of compassion, she wrote at the time. We must alter our attitudes and approach if we truly want to affect change. We should refocus our efforts on inclusion and rehabilitation. The 9 Minnesota men were facing decades in prison after being accused in 2015 of making plans, including buying fake passports, in an attempt to travel to Syria and fight for ISIS, which was at its peak level of activity and held territory in Syria and Iraq. Incarcerating 20-year-old men for 30 or 40 years is essentially a life sentence. Society will have no expectations of the to-be 50 or 60-year-old released prisoners. It will view them with distrust and revulsion, read Omar's letter to the judge, as obtained by Fox 9 of Minneapolis, St. Paul. One of the accused men, Abdirahman Yassin Daoud, was facing over 30 years in prison for trying to join the terrorist group. He admitted in court that he wasn't trying to enter Syria on humanitarian grounds, but rather to participate in the activities of ISIS. I was not going to get there to pass out medical kits or food. I was going strictly to fight and kill on behalf of the Islamic State, he said. Oof. Alright, so that was all back then, though. What could she have said now? In response to Glenn Greenwald when he said, GOP leader Kevin McCarthy threatens punishment for Ilhan and Rashida over their criticisms of Israel, it's stunning how much time U.S. political leaders spend defending a foreign nation, even if it means attacking free speech rights of Americans. To which she responded, it's all about those Benjamins, baby, in which she infers that folks on Capitol Hill are being paid by Israel. This is furthered by an opinion editor from the Forward, Batya Ungar Sargon, when she says, would love to know who Ilhan thinks is paying American politicians to be pro-Israel. Though I think I can guess. Bad form, Congresswoman. That's the second anti-Semitic trope you've tweeted. To which she simply replies, AIPAC, or the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, which has been accused of agitating for a conflict with Iran. Now this all blew up, which is why the headline came stating that Pelosi denounced the language used. The Anti-Defamation League, meanwhile, called on House leadership to take action in response to Omar's comments. From the Republican side of the aisle, RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel on Monday called for Pelosi to remove Omar from the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Now this was then echoed today by the president himself. Rep. Ilhan Omar in a fiery exchange after Trump demanded she be removed from committee. Democratic Rep. Ilhan Omar, the freshman congresswoman, President Donald Trump and other top Republicans say should be removed from the House Foreign Affairs Committee because of her anti-Semitic comments. Engaged in a fiery exchange Wednesday with a Trump administration official over U.S. policy in Central America. Since then, after even House Speaker Nancy Pelosi condemned her comments and Omar apologized, Trump has repeatedly called on her to either resign from Congress or at least the committee, he said, because it deals with U.S. policy towards Israel. Vice President Mike Pence added that those who engage in anti-Semitic tropes should not just be denounced, they should face consequences for their words. Conservative commenters have also tried to hold Omar's feet to the fire. Meanwhile, pushback on Omar's comments and denouncing anti-Semitism has turned into a Republican rallying cry, and they accuse Democrats of hypocrisy, saying that the GOP removed Rep. Steve King from congressional committees after the Iowa Republicans' latest comments about white nationalism, which critics called racist. Duh. And then Kevin McCarthy, Majority Leader of the House, made this statement Monday. House Democrat leadership continues to be silent as Americans from both sides of the aisle condemn this rhetoric and pattern of behavior. In the face of that abdication of leadership, Republicans will take action this week to ensure the House speaks out against this hatred and stands with Israel and the Jewish people. So goddamn, that's quite a lot. But why did I bring up Linda at the beginning of this? Well, it's because they both have very similar politics. Both are in defense of the Palestinians in Gaza and very anti-Israel. For someone like this to be on the Foreign Affairs Committee of all places just doesn't sit well with me. But I presented all this to you. That's all I have for this evening. I have put all the links down below, as always, for you guys to check out for yourselves. I would love to know what you guys got from this. So be sure to leave a comment down below. And I look forward to seeing you all on the Cthulhukin and Friends show tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time on the Cthulhukin and Friends channel. Have a good one, and I'll see y'all soon.